without disturbing the soil structure. It can be excavated up to our required depth. By using this tool, it can lower the position of the soil. When compared to JCB, the dispersion of soil also requires space. There is no dispersion. In the required space, it will excavate and cover soil and
நார்மலாக டிராக்டர் உள்ள இப்போ எக்ஸ்கவேட் பண்ணும்போது இது பக்கெட் சுற்றி இந்த சேண்ட் உள்ள இருக்கிற சாயில் வந்து இந்த சைடு வந்துடும். அப்புறம் டிராக்டர்லேருந்து எடுத்துக்கணும்.
So external storage device are like USB flash drives, hard disk drives, compact disk, DVDs. These are the common type of external devices. So coming to the wireless storage, recent years this wireless storage become more viral and everybody wants to use it. So we already use cloud storage, which we access our files through internet. So, never think about having a wireless personal devices, wireless storage devices. So, by having a wireless storage devices in home, a person can have it and the whole family can access it. So, it is the advanced feature of the wireless storage devices that multiple users can access it.
You can go to your article.
Okay, my idea is to make a wireless storage device which can offer quite a few advanced features. So it is simple. By using a single board computer and a storage device, we can combine it to create an advanced storage devices. Next. So talking about single board computers, there are a wide range of single board computers available. So we can use any one of it. So it is configured using a software which is basically FTP server, so file transfer factor servers, which quite act as a server, not as an external storage device, but act as a server. Storage device can be anything, hard disk or a solid state device. And operating system. Single board computers absolutely need an operating system to operate. So by coming to Linux operating system gives quite a customizable view. So here we can use a Linux software. And this is how the hardware structure looks like. So we have a single board computers and a hard drive. So battery pack to power it because it's going to be portable and compact, which can fit in your bags. So and the user interface controls, it will offer some quite advanced features. So I'll be talking about this later. So next. So this is how it will be looking in the outer look. So we can put it inside our backpacks, travel to anywhere with the wireless storage device in our hands. So we can give access to our friends and families to use it. Or else, if we are using it in our institution, we can give access to HOD as the root user and faculties as the primary user. So this is how it works. So super users, secondary users and sub-users. So the administrator will administrate all the files. He gives the access to the users. Based on this access, the users are divided into two. So there are the main users. So main users will have both write and read permissions. And so next sub-level users will have only the read HTTP server software looking like this, and we can create users by using the software itself. So we can show how many users are connected and what they are using at the set, what time they are connected on their IP address to manage properly, and we can prevent by looking at what are the other users are using this. So if someone can potentially hack it, we can find it from here. So next. And the receiver client, actually the first software is for the hardware, and this is for the receivers, clients. So it can be quite used on any file manager which provides FTP network connections. So FTP network connection, by adding simply the FTP IP address and the name and password that the user account you created. So by accessing that, you can access files. So here in this device, I have been logging with the 4 different users. So one is faculty, students, and root and KS. So here I define so this can be used as a server as well as an entertainment storage device. So here KS is an entertainment accessor, who can access only the entertainment files and the video files stored in that device, and the faculty who can upload or edit the files which should be provided for the student users. And the student users can receive files from faculty and the root user who needs to pass some basic like college registration PDF or anything we want to pass. He can pass it to faculty, students, or even to the KS. So that is for the root users. Next. So advantages. Wireless storages like external hard drives has. This is not like an external hard drive. This is like an external server which can be in the backpack size. So it can provide up to 40 megabits per second upload and 100 megabits per second download speed. And it is absolutely portable because we are using single computers, so it is absolutely portable and expandability. So the hardware we can use inside can be expanded up to 6 terabytes of usage, and by adding some special hardware we can expand it up to 20 or 30 terabytes. So next, multiple user compatibility. So multiple user compatibility is like we can, external hard drive we can give access to up to 5 users. In this client software we can give access up to 50 users or more than that. So all we need to do is connect it with the local area network. And upgradability. So this device is absolutely customizability. It provides customizability which we can add or remove hardware which according to our usage. Next. And the areas need to be developed. A better hardware configuration. So it uses a single board computer which is quite a slow computer. Maybe it provides 1 GHz of processing time, that is not enough for storage processing. Next, it comes to the software for more features like registration. We need to add each and everything in FTP server. So instead of that, user can register themselves from the device. So that part needs to be developed. And more user-friendly client application. So I say it can be accessed from any file manager. So instead of that, standalone software can provide more features than a file manager. Next. And the conclusions. So we all need storage devices to store our data. So the storage devices is quite heavy. They provide wire connections, that is not enough for us. So we are using the mobile phones which is quite famous for their portability. We don't need to connect another wire for external storage. So there is a wireless storage device. So wireless external hard disk provide only few features which cannot specify the write and read permissions. So this client, this server, which is actually a personal storage device, as well as it can be used as storage. So this can provide this read and write permissions and the multiple user access. That is one of the most advanced features. So many users can use it. So they can stream movies or hear songs, or they can read documents or the materials they need to be stored and downloaded. So we can download or upload into this device. So it is absolutely portable. And by conclusion, this device can will be in your backpacks in the future. That is common for every users. But here the multiple functionality is the customizability it gives. To who you can give the access and for who you should not give the access. So that is
what are the access permission or features that you are saying like three groups, no?
Yeah.
What are the functionalities or they are being trying to do?
There is a super user. So who is the head or administrator administrator, he can have every permission, like read permission, write permission, and the customizability will be having. So if I was the administrator, I have it, right? So I can put files in that. So so I have any access to that. Next, the second level. So my friends or the second level users who have read and write permission, who can download the files from the server as well as upload it, or they delete the file in the server.
The edit permission you are trying to give in the second mode.
No. There is one thing that they cannot add or remove users. So I can add or remove users, but my friends cannot add or remove users. Like the third user, other users, they will have the right read permission, but will not the write permission. So they can see the files in the storage.
What is the power backup?
So power backup is the battery. We are using lithium-ion batteries.
What is the charging?
It has it gives 8,000 mAh of power backup, so it can run up to 24 hours because it gives only 800 milliamps.
Then the cost will be very high compared to your ordinary USB or whatever the storage is.
It can be little bit higher because the single core motherboard is around 1,500 or something, and the heart rate will give some. So like going to 1 GB it will cost around 1,800 or something, and the battery backup, the 8,000 mAh battery costs 600. So it is totally coming around there.
But after the speed is very less compared to your ordinary.
That speed will not be most noticeable because we will be using smaller files, and the video you need not to download it. It will be directly streamed, which is its speed is 100 MB download speed, Mbps. So Mbps. So what the movie streaming needs is around 50 Mbps only. So it can be pretty bit faster for each user.
Okay. Expense.
Next slide. Nowadays, previously, booking a cab and riding on it was a nightmare, but nowadays it is digitalized. So, likewise, we are helping the farmers to sell their products in a digitalized manner. Also, we are helping visually challenged, physically challenged, and off-ages people to sell their handmade products in our app. So that's what our product is. So next slide.
Generally, we buy fruits and vegetables in our retail shops or supermarkets, right? Thinking how is this done is, the farmers are cultivating their crops in the villages and remote areas. From there, agents are bringing it to the supermarkets with some commissions and extra amounts. And then it is brought to retail markets and we are buying it. Say that if a tomato is rupees 8 per kg, the agents are buying it at a rate of 8 per kg from the farmers and giving it to the supermarket at the rate of 10. And then when it is brought to retailers, it is about 14 to 15 rupees. So we don't know the time delay made with the farmers to when it is reached to our hand. So there is a time delay and money of increase from 8 to 16 rupees. And then Sunday is also an existing app, but in that app we have mounted one that any user can register as a farmer. Even I can register as a farmer and sell some other product in that. So that's what the Sunday app.
The main implementation starts with the development of a website or a mobile application. In this mobile application, the farmers can upload their cultivated crop details, and on the other side, the users can register in the app so that the user can order their products, required products in their app, and we can maintain a separate place, and the farmers can bring their products and they can sell their products by that place. But how they can identify their product, they can identify by using their order ID. Both the order ID will be generated to the farmer as well as the customer. So by their order ID, they can get their products. Yeah, that's what.
And this is our system architecture, in which farmers are selling their products to the wholesalers through agent, and then it is brought to the retailers from where we buy the goods or regular vegetables or fruits or anything. Through our mobile system, farmers are uploading their goods and other products directly to our app, through which we can just order it, and then to the order ID at a later period, the decision will be taken by the farmers on a particular day. On the day, customers can buy their ordered products from the farmers directly.
This is the module of our project. First, we will gather the information of the farmers and we can upload it in our app. Then we will add the product details of the yielded products by the farmers. When the customer can place their order by clicking on this icon. By this button, we can proceed to payment details. The next one. The order ID will be generated to the customer as well as the farmer. With this order ID, they can get their products on a particular day. In some particular place, the farmers will bring their product, and the customer also can go there and they can get their products by using their order ID.
We know the system requirements of being at a basic mode, and then I wanted to know and deliver MySQL software to build an app. Next slide.
The difference is like things like orders, how you will identify whether that is very taken from a particular farmer or it may be like for some farmers may not be proper. So authentication.
First, the primary process is we go to the farmers in person and we will collect all their details and upload it in apps. And every customer who register in our app can view the details and even call the farmers about to inquire the details. What are the products you are selling lately?
Like you are having a approaching source digital India.
Yes.
Whereas I need certain things like clarify. Whereas you are saying that the process areas, like you have to take the order, you have to put like example. These digital India concepts will reach your even rural areas.
Yes.
So
We are going to take it.
so how these people are going there? Sometimes they may not having like smartphones. Even though sometimes they are having a smartphone, they are taking like the enter rate, everything, the cost data, what is the ID, my suggestion is like you can do like an invoice enabled system. Like that may be good idea.
So we will add.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next batch. Your name?
The title of our project is Electronically Controlled Water Administration System. Our project head is Mr. Sargam sir, our HOD from the Mechanical Department.
What is objective?
So, why do we need water conservation? In recent days, Chennai faced a water crisis. We know all the why? Because of water mismanagement, because of water loss, due to water leakage. Just remember this. In a multi-storage building, it is very difficult to control the flow of water because the loss in water is very high. Sometimes people tend to open the taps and leave it there itself. So the water gets wasted.
Usefully explain. Next slide.
So the working principle. Now, what do you learn? The working principle. Okay. Now I'll show you the block diagram.
Please don't make noise.
Hey, சத்தம் போடாதீங்க.
இல்லை வெளியே போயிருங்க.
கிளாஸ் மாதிரியே முக்கியம் எடுக்காதீங்க. Now guys, this here is the storage tank. Storage tank, you can see that. And the second is the washroom. So the water has to go from all the way from the storage tank to the washroom. There are multiple houses here. So water has to go through all these places. Now, what we have done is we have connected a solenoid valve, which is connected with a timer circuit. See, this is the sixth one. The sixth diagram is the solenoid valve. The water passes through the solenoid valve. Now the solenoid valve is connected to a timer circuit, where the timer circuit is programmable. You can program it for 2 hours. You can even program it for half an hour break and another half an hour. So, and there is also a dust and humidity you can see that this is a manual valve. This is a manual valve. If the main important important solenoid valve is that it needs electricity to run. Since sometimes there is electricity shortages, there is loss of electricity, so sometimes you won't be able to run the system. That is the reason why there is a manual valve. This manual valve also has a spring in it, so it is also timeable. This manual valve can be worked for nearly 2 to 3 hours, depending on your choice.
There is no experimental setup.
Experimental setup,
You are right. So you are considering water or you are considering the water?
it's not water conservation in sense, it's water prevention of water leakage. Sometimes people tend to miss the idea. Sometimes they will let the tap flow, and they go out.
So these kind of systems are already available. In what way it will be like in techno-economical aspect or how it will be differentiated with respect to the existing system? Do you have any cost-effective system or
This is a cost-effective system.
how you can justify? What is the cost of this device?
This whole system for us, it costs us around 4,000 rupees. But we have to do all the piping. We have to do all the piping. We have to do all the board. We have to do all the presentation stuff, material, everything that came into this cost will be sir. But when you take it for mass production, like in multi-story building houses and all, they will buy it for bulk. So the cost of these products will be less. And all of these products are bought from vendors who sell it globally. So they can even get it manufacturing or data, they can get it easily. And second thing, this cost.
What is the cost? Individual cost and cost difference that we have in like piece or like
These means for the total for entire house, if the all piping is already given, the total cost will come around 2,000 for one house. 2,000. It also has automatic.
but already some sensors and all available, it will identify it directly.
Those sensors are available for water tanks.
But it will be cost very less, even in some times also.
No, sir. Sensors are available for water tank. Those sensors only control the flow of water to the tank. After that, the motor will switch off automatically. There is no such system for this kind of water wastage industry. Sometimes they forget to tap, they will open and they will go. Sometimes they forget that kind of thing.
Water making biogas by evolution of sustainable environment. Presented by me actually by the friends Mohammed Ashik and Ganesh Kumar. Introduction. My aim is water needs today water. The basic needs of human is water. So there is nowadays the population becomes much greater. Day by day is greater. So many water needs for the humans is much greater. So the wastage of water is much greater than today. So my aim is to produce a good water and moderate purpose using waste contamination of water to producing bioash. My introduction is that water is daily lost daily through the various bodily purpose. We need every living cells and every process of this. Next slide.
Go to your process. So you have a process.
This is a process that saline water is the tank is containing saline water and water flowing to the slope type solar steel. The water is vapor and the slope type solar steel gas wool is collected the good waters and the nanoparticles and the bioash is in this that the bottom of the program and the bioash is collected and wastewater is collected on the wastewater pipe and here the copper coil inside the PCM and CA coating is done. The black paint is done to absorb more heat energy. This is the prototype of my model. The result that the efficiency of use rate in the summer days and the incidentally
cements and the alternate purposes. The waste allocation and conversion water makes the powdered cement using for manufacture of bricks and some.
Okay. What is how we are calculating the efficiency of
Dr. D.P., Coordinator ESET, to give the welcome address. A pleasant good morning to one and all present here. It's my great privilege to welcome all of you to the Innovation Day 2019 conducted by Veltech Multitech, Dr. Rangarajan, Dr. Shakuntala Engineering College. Today is a great day which we have all come here with so many ideas presented and need to be shared. I would like to welcome the management to this function, and I extend my sincere gratitude, and I welcome Colonel Professor Dr. R. Rangarajan sir, founder and chairman of Veltech Group of Institutions, the Vice Chairman Madam, Chairperson and Managing Trustee and Vice President sir to this function in absentia, and to the grace of this occasion, I would like also to welcome our Principal Dr. B. Rajamani sir, who will be joining us in a few minutes, and also I would like to welcome all the administrators, the coordinators of innovation of various departments, and to the foremost, I would like to welcome our chief guest of today, Dr. Sudarshan, scientist and co-founder of Vati Artificial Intelligence Private Limited, Chennai. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir, to the Innovation Day 2019. I wholeheartedly welcome all the staff members, the students, the participants, and all other dignitaries available here. I hope that today will be a great day for all of us, and let us innovate more and more throughout our journey. Thank you so much. Once again, I welcome you all.
Once again, I warmly welcome our chief guest for today's Innovation Day 2019. It's really a great moment here because, as you could see, we were supposed to be, in fact, organized this in a matter of just some 2 days back on an holiday. In fact, all this idea came to us only somewhere in the mid-noon of afternoon of Saturday. From Saturday to now, we could see students have come forward to participate in big numbers. All of a sudden, Innovation Day 2019 was planned, and as per plan, everything went well. Even in this examinations happening across, that is the reason why we could see a thin attendance at the back side. Only the participants were asked to participate in this function. On behalf of the management, I thank the chief guest for having accepted to come down to felicitate the winners. Coming to today's innovation function, before, I'll just take 2 minutes of the session. Some 5 minutes discussion, chief guest was having the principal, a small cup of tea, we were just discussing, he was sharing a couple of points about a good discussion was happening between principal, the coordinators and the chief guest. From the discussion, I could only take one point there. Was the discussion was about the gap between the industry and the institute. If I'm right, that was the discussion all about. The gap between the industry and the institute. Now, he was also saying another point that today we see more of bookworms coming up as engineers. The practical knowledge is absent. That was the discussion all about. It was surrounding about that and where the labs happen, whether it is from academicians or from the industry, etc. was a discussion. Here I would just like to put a point here, or record a point here that at Veltech Multitech, even students, you as students, you will see some of the final year students seated here, you as students will definitely agree to the institution that nowhere in your journey of this 4 years of your, I'm talking on behalf of the final year students, nowhere in this journey of 4 years you are at any point of time told or given a restriction on the participation when it comes to innovation contests. We have strongly believed, and we have always had a very strong belief that academics happens everywhere. You study, you get marks. And you score marks, you get your grade, whatever CGPA, everything, academics happens. College opens, and by the time we just thought the college was open, and now we are sitting for the university exam in another 3-4 days from now. So academics happens. We at Veltech Multitech always felt that apart from academics, our concentration on the top level, the administrators, the head of the departments, the key people, we always felt that the concentration should always lie on the 4 verticals that we always pinpoint in any of the meetings that we discuss. The 4 verticals, one of the major verticals among the 4 verticals have always been the innovation, followed by the entrepreneurial activities that we do inside, followed by the research focus that we give to the students. These are some of the portfolios or the verticals that we have always had in our hands, and we always ensure that the students are part and parcel of this journey. And it is not for this discussion or to tell about it. This has been a fact, and we have also constantly motivated and encouraged the students to be a part of this journey. Girls and boys have been participating. I could see girls going out of the city, out of country. Also, we have got a couple of cases. We could see girls from my department, mechanical, traveling north side, everywhere for their competitions and everything. Nowhere there was any restriction given by the institution. The institution always feels that this should be a part of your 4-year journey of your engineering. And based on this, innovation always has on our mind, and we always been very close to it, close to our hearts. And today, this Innovation Day might be the first that we do. Every year you could see that, in another word for Tech Yuga, we have been constantly doing it for the last 3 years, where every department comes out with their innovative ideas and products display and everything. So keep this in mind. These chief guests would also stress on this point that today, he was also telling another point which is absolutely true. I used to tell my students wherever I go for classes, especially to my department guys, I used to say that a high CGPA doesn't work out. An high CGPA looks to be a bookworm. Today, industries need not bookworms. They need someone who's got the practical knowledge and the practical exposure. So you students focus on that. Keep books aside. That is required, but that isn't our career. Our career is on the other side. Let's see how we fit into the industry requirements. And if you ask me to give a big discussion, the day goes on. one point I would also like to say before I go back to the Chief Guest and to the members here, that for the last 2 years, if you see how the system works, the final year students should very well know that when you are in the second year or probably when you are in the first year, we used to call academicians for guest lectures. But from the second year onwards, in the last 3 years, you have seen all your guest lectures would have been industry people. Why we used to call the industry people and not the academicians is that to feed the knowledge of the industry requirements, so you get what is the industry requirements and mold yourself before you come out to the final year. That is what has been our KRA always. And we do work with this. Once again, thanks for this, making this event. The winners, the participants, all the participants are winners. I could see some humble lot of slogans have come, lot of posters have come. The jury members have had a tough time to select the best one. And all the participants are winners. There is no special winner as it. All the participants are winners. Might be the best of the best. Best of the best is only awarded. It is not the winner, it is the best of the best. And last, on this test, I thank MHRD for having been very close to Veltech Multitech in this event. Every event from this morning has been, the live coverage is being uploaded in the MHRD web portal, and the head of MHRD Innovation Cell, Dr. Avechiri, has been very closely associated with the institution. And he's been closely supporting us in all our activities. Thank you to him for running this day. And last, I would like to thank all the coordinators of the various departments, the doctorates who are here. I could see the doctorates here, Dr. Balasamudram from Mechanical, Dr. Rasaruddin from Civil, Dr. Suchitra ma'am from IT, Dr. Ravindra Kumar from EEE, Dr. Dinesh from CSE, Dr. K. Mohanasundram from EEE. Also the coordinator, Dr. Deepthi Joseph. All your efforts has made this event come to this good finish. Thank you once again, and keep rocking, keep rolling yourself as far as this is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for it.
I am Dr. Ganesh, Professor from the Department of Computer Science Engineering, Veltech Multitech, Dr. Shamunthara Engineering College, Avadi, Chennai. And I am the Innovation Coordinator of Veltech Multitech Engineering College, Avadi. I will be presenting the innovation report and to you. Before I could start reading the innovation report, I will just give a small glimpse about our college to the guest. Our college is an autonomous institution affiliated to Anna University. It is an NBA accredited for the departments of biomedical engineering, computer science engineering, electronics and communication engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, information technology, and mechanical for a period of 3 years. Our college is NAC accredited with A grade, and it is #1 among Anna University affiliated colleges in Tamil Nadu with an impressive score of 3.49 out of 4.0. Our college is a UGC 2F and 12B accredited awarded institution. We are a prestigious DST, FIST sponsored institution. We are a CIRO recognized institution, Scientific Industrial Research Organization recognized institution. We have research centers approved by Anna University Chennai for the Department of Electronic and Communication Engineering, Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Physics and Chemistry. We have permanent affiliation for the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Computer Science Engineering, ECE, EEE, IT, Mechanical and ME Computer Science Engineering. Our college is an ISO 9001-2015 certified institution. We have an entrepreneurship development institute which is approved by the Center for Entrepreneurship Development and University. Through innovative ideas, we have an invigorating intellectual property rights record in terms of patents. We have filed 191 patents, out of which 151 patents are published and 4 patents are being granted. We have received the IPR Award 2017 from the Center of Intellectual Property Rights, Anna University, for filing maximum number of patents. We have received research fund of rupees 125 lakhs from government funding agencies such as DST, SERB, etc. Our ideas got reflected in 1000+ Scopus publication and more than 2,000 plus publications in the peer-reviewed index journals. And coming to the Innovation Awards, we have received Motorola FAER Scholar Award. In the year 2017, we have won first prize for the outstanding project exhibited in the stream of information technology. In the year 2015, we have won second prize for the outstanding project exhibited in the stream of biomedical engineering. And as well, we have won first prize for outstanding project exhibited in the stream of biomedical engineering again. So we have received the IBM Great Mind Challenge Award. We have received the TAFE Innovista Awards for the Best Student Innovative Project Award in the year 2017. Innovation is imbibed in our students' routine during their course of study at our institution. In the recent past, one of our students by name Mr. Ishwar Prasad from the Computer Science Engineering Department has won the eBay Hall of Fame Awards by Uber for identifying a bug in their account transaction. Mr. G. Jagan from Computer Science Engineering Department has received the Idea India Kalam 2020 award from the former governor of Tamil Nadu. Mr. Srivatsan and Mr. Jayarajan has received BCIC Innovation Award from ex-Chief Secretary of Karnataka. Mrs. Ajita and Mrs. Sunita were the winner of Hackathon Award. In this current ongoing semester, which was started from June 2019, our students have participated in competitions like Solar Urja, National Design Research Forum, Akriti 2019, Innovet 2019, Schneider Electric Hackathon 2019, Energy Innovation Challenge, Innovate to Inspire, Mitsubishi Electric National Level Automation Cup, Quest Ingenium, Anvation, and AICTE's National Innovation Award, National Budding Innovation Award, National Societal Innovation Award, Chakra Vishwakarma Awards, Vadavan Awards, Fossey Animation, which has been organized by IIT Bombay, McAfee FAER Awards, Oravan Social Innovation Awards 2019, Infosys Oravan Social Innovation Awards 2019, which has been organized by Infosys, and Idea Spark, which has been organized by IIT Madras, Rural Innovator Startup Conclave, which has been organized by National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, Government of India, in which the teams from IT department, EC department and mechanical department participated in this All India event, and our mechanical department students have won the second prize in the RISC 2019 held at the NIRDPR office of the Government of India office at venue at Hyderabad on 28/9/2019. Then in Quest Ingenium, our student project were selected as one of the top 10 projects in India, and they will be presenting their working model on the coming 18th October 2019 at the Hyatt Residency in Hyderabad. And other competition results are expected shortly. As far as the industry supported labs are concerned, all the programs of study are associated with industry supported laboratories where the students are equipped with the latest trends in the industry and are exposed to the updated technological advancements of the industry arena. The following are the industry labs and the departments that are associated with our Intel lab, supported by the Intel Corporation for the departments of Computer Science Engineering and Information Technology. Advanced lab, supported by Barman Tech Private Limited for the Department of Biomedical Engineering, ECE and EEE. Automotive lab, supported by Hyundai Motors for the Department of Mechanical and Civil Engineering. Thank you. Thank you for listening patiently.
Thank you, Dr. Ganesh. Now I invite our placement head, Ravindranathan sir, to introduce the chief guest.
It's a great day for all of us because Dr. Abdul Kalam dreamt that every one of us should ignite within ourselves the great innovation qualities. So we must develop the creative innovative qualities all through. So that was his desire. So here is a person who is vision. He has converted his vision into reality. He is a faculty turned industrialist, entrepreneur. So I have chance to read through his great profile. He is an IIT Madras product. He was a chief scientist at Claritrix, that is aka Buddhi Health, Buddhi Make Claritrix Incorporated, aka Buddhi Health and Buddhi Make. Now basically, he is an incisive leader with over 19 years of invaluable experience in leading artificial intelligence, research and development projects for an end-to-end product development, system, software design and development in assignments and deputations. Adroit in managing the product development life cycle from conceptualization, finalization of product specifications, technology selection, client handling, change request management, and cross-functional coordination for effective positioning of the product. Highly capable of acting as an owner of the multiple products and giving expert opinion to the organization, clients with respect to the competition. Proven abilities in defining and managing the technical architecture of a software application based on specific client requirements and assessment of technologies. Strong developments and technical manager with several years of hands-on experience in adapting open source and proprietary software into the development lifecycle. Strong software design and development and debugging skills to sustain the entire product lifecycle, hands-on Scala and C++ programming skills with a strong understanding of functional and object-oriented design and patterns. A facilitation manager and researcher with rich and extensive experience in predictive modeling, predictive trends based on historical data sets using statistical machine learning and supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised soft computing methods. A skilled communicator with own leadership, team building and mentoring capabilities, possesses strong analytical and mathematical problem solving and troubleshooting skills. An industry academia joint research facilitator with the experience of successfully executing several projects with premier research institutes. His experiences hovering over Chief Scientific Officer and co-founder Claritrix Incorporated, that is between October 2013 to present date. Then he was project officer in Institute of Technology, Chennai. Then consulting research scientist, multiple companies. Then he was director of R&D, Burning Glass Technologies between August 2003 to July 2013. Almost 10 years he was there. So some more are there. With this, we have great pleasure in inviting you to this great forum, sir. You will definitely listen to some of our students' innovative presentations, short and sweet. Definitely, they really deserve. One day I liked when I was with the principal along with him and our great professor. So he is very, very clear that innovative qualities just come from the so-called, don't underestimate anybody. People may have barriers, but they are found to be the best in the industry. They fit in very well. They adapt to the situations. Not that the top performers like 9.0 above CGPA and all. You have to develop the culture of innovating, bringing in new thinking, new styles of innovations, new products, new systems into the, wherever you go, you will prosper by bringing in your creativity. So now the floor is open to our chief guest, Mr. Santiago. Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
Am I hearable to everybody? Am I audible to everybody? Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. So, they invited me for leading this innovation day here. Is it better? Yes. So, first question I want to ask you, what do you think innovation is? You all follow Tamil? Is there anybody who can't follow Tamil? Anybody who can't follow?
Bilingual, sir. Someone will be speaking. So
That's fine, but I'm asking, is there
majority is Tamil only.
Is there anybody who can't follow Tamil? You can't follow Tamil?
No.
He wants to say what is innovation.
Okay, good. Okay. So you were trying to answer the previous question. Great. There is a joke actually. So when you compare browsers, right? There are 3 browsers. I'm sure you would have seen this in WhatsApp forward messages and all. There will be 3 participants: Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome. There will be a question asked to these browsers. Okay, who are we? That's a question asked to these browsers. Chrome and Firefox would say yes, we are browsers. They would have answered. So the second question that might be asked to these browsers after some time. After 5 minutes, the second question is asked, what do we do? Chrome and Firefox would answer, we browse the internet. Internet Explorer says, we are browsers. Do you understand the joke? Did you understand the joke? Did you get it? It's a classic. It's a classic joke against Internet Explorer and Internet Explorer haters. I'm one of them. But the latest one, the Edge is better. Edge is much better than Chrome. Anyways, so when you stood up, I was scared. What is this big guy standing in front of me? And you are going to answer the first question. Okay, no issues. Okay, so you wanted to answer what is innovation. Yeah. What is innovation? What do you think is innovation? Feel free. Yeah,
Innovation is so innovation is nothing but creativity, idea about any products or any things to innovate the product and by the intermittent activities. We have to pattern some things to innovate some new things to the market.
Okay, good job. So innovation is not that complicated. Okay, I was defining it in a very complicated fashion. So let's try to recall a problem. There is a proverb about innovation. It says, need is the mother of invention. Have you ever heard about this proverb? Need is the mother of invention. So when do you think you need to create something? When you figure out that there is no solution for a problem that you want a solution for, correct? You get that? Right? So let's say you are waiting for a cab. Or let's say you are waiting for an auto. Or a cab, let's say, on a highway. And you booked it in Ola, Uber, nothing worked. But you have to go back to home. Go back to home for Diwali. What will you do? Will you continue waiting for Uber and Ola? What will you do? The buses won't stop in random places, man. So it cannot be wrong. What will you do? You'll probably take a lift. Will you or will you not? Don't you think that's an innovative solution there?
Yes, 100%.
Right? So why did you start thinking about taking a hike? Because you wanted a transport back to your home, but you don't have a solution. But the need is there. So you have to come up with some ideas which will help you transport yourself from that spot to your home. Is that a fair statement? Right? You are already innovating. You are already innovating on an as-needed basis. But if you want to do it as a full-time job, you become an innovator. That's all. It's as simple as that. Did you get it? So innovation is not some hi-fi one where you go find patents. No. Patents are just some outcomes of it. What is side effect? We call that as a side effect, a good side effect of innovation. But But the actual fun lies in your satisfaction when you have solved the problem yourself. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree? When you have a problem but for which there is no existing solution, and you did something creatively and solved the problem yourself, you will be satisfied very much there, correct? And that satisfaction is invaluable. Do you agree? That's the innovation. That is what matters. But when you have done something as an innovative solution, and if you see a potential of applying the solution to everybody, let's say it worked for you, it might work for others also, then you conceptualize a product around it, a revenue model around it. That's when you become an entrepreneur. You get it? So there is a problem for which there is no existing solution. So you take the engineer's hat on yourself and you try to solve the problem yourself. And fortunately you have solved it also. Okay, it has satisfied your need. You got all satisfaction. What next? So now you realize that the same problem is faced by several of your friends. And they will also enjoy the same solution if you give it to them. If it is not a friend, if it's a third party who also has similar issues and you can offload your solution to that third party and you figure that there is an opportunity to make money here. And that's when you form a company around that idea. This is how 99% of the startups really start. They got a solution to an interesting problem and they try to mint it. They try to make money around it by building a business around it. That is how startups get initiated. So innovation has nothing to do with defining it in a complicated terms. It is something that you do on a daily basis. That's all. So don't complicate it. So patents coming out of innovation, companies coming out of innovation are all good side effects. Very good side effects that you don't have to pay attention to. But the fun is you have the ability to go and solve it yourself. That's the fun part. Yeah? Why do you think it is the fun part? Because it is reassuring your own capabilities. Yes? It gives you self-confidence to solve any damn problem that might come in the future. Yeah? It satisfies your ego, well said, yeah? It satisfies your ego. That will drive you to any extreme, do you agree? Adu mela attention podunga. Right? Pay attention to that. And the simplest thing, noun that defines it is called curiosity. So if you have curiosity in life, then you will naturally be an innovator. Definitely. So if I am successful in my life, I would say the main reason for it is I'm still curious about different things. Different things that is happening around me. I'm very curious about it. I want to know why it is happening that way, why not in a different way. How can I improve it? Or how can I make it down, make it up? That curiosity is the one which has driven me all my life. I'm about 41 years now. I think I'm curious for the past 30 years. I clearly remember my curiosity since my 4th grade or 5th grade. I think the first time when I made a light bulb glow from a battery, I was in my 5th grade. Right? I wired a bulb to glow from a battery through a switch. I was super excited to get it work. Right? There was a downside of it. I'll tell you what happened.
Practice. I also did it.
Yeah, I'm talking about 30 years back, right? And we used to play somewhere. We had a cricket coach, and that fellow appreciated me like anything. You have the engineer in you. He said, you have an engineer in you. I have decided by that time that I should do engineering, but I did not know the term engineering by then. But I have decided myself that I will be like that. But what I did was, after that is the fun story. I did the same experiment with alternating current. That is the experiment I did. And in a battery setup, it was single wire, right? From positive to bulb to the negative, single wire, no confusion. But when I wanted to do it with AC, there were 2 wires. I was super confused. Still in my 5th or 6th grade, okay? And there was nobody at home. I wanted to run this experiment because even if something goes wrong, my father will not catch me. So I connected a bulb. So I made sure I had a bulb with me. It was a regular 230 volt bulb. But what I did is I wired both phase and neutral together. So 2 wires in, 2 wires out. Good that I did not get into fire and all, but it was a good exercise. Dangerous though, but it was a good exercise. It made me understand that there are 2 different lines. One is phase, another one is neutral. I learned it when I was in my 6th grade. You might have learned it when you were in your engineering. Right? Okay. My curiosity did not kill me, but don't, I'm not saying curiosity will always make you live. It can also kill you. It could have been fatal. In my 6th grade, working with electricity. So from that point onwards, my father got it because fuse was gone, right? I don't know how to replace the fuse. Only when my father did it. So he caught me. So from that point onwards, till my engineering beginning, he never allowed me to touch electricity. So I had to dodge him and touch it in his absence. But I love playing with electricity, always. Gotten hit multiple times, but I still love to play with it. So I always tell my wife and daughter that if you respect electricity, it loves you back. You have to respect it. If you play with it, it will finish you. It will ensure that you get finished. This is 230 volt. Please don't play anything more than that. Okay? If you go to 440, you are fried chicken. Okay? No questions asked. You are deep fried chicken or probably burnt charcoal like chicken. Anyways, so it can be dangerous. But what I'm saying is, my curiosity had driven me to all possible extremes, and if my life is interesting for me, it is because of the curiosity that I have inculcated since my school days. So I see this as one standard problem with a lot of engineering students. Many of them come with a lot of interest, energy and curiosity when they join their first year. Then it becomes an exponential decay function. You know that, right? By the second year, it's not that much, but still I have some bits of curiosity. Third year, it gets flattened out. Fourth year, you are dead. It is like a dead motor. Nothing there. I come to college, I sit here, do some nonsense, write exams, go back home, do the same thing at home, write assignments, write homeworks, whatnot, and do the same bad business every day, day in, day out. And I wait for the day when I graduate. The convocation day or whatever day, the annual day, whatever it is. So it's an exponential decay function. But I think it need not be an exponential decay. It could be better than that, right? It could be better. At least it could be a flat line till you die. So think about it. Curiosity is the key. That is one thing that I want to convey to you on this innovation day. The second point that I wanted to convey to you is one simple statement, which I learned in a very hard way in my life, which is, life is not a race. Right? Everybody preaches that life is a race. I hate all of them. I hate them so badly. Life is definitely not a race. But it is a game that you should play. So you might have heard, winning or losing does not matter, participation matters. This is something people always say after you lost. Right? The first consolation message that you get from your best friend is that, hey, don't worry much, winning and losing is not the part of life. Just participation is more important. This is what you would have heard from your best friend. But that you will hear only when you lost it. When you win it, hey, yappada treat it. There everybody wants to celebrate your victory, but when you lose, they say, no, don't worry about this. Don't worry about your loss. It's okay. It's a good advice, but not the truthful advice. Not a truthful advice. I would say, don't treat anything as a race. Take it as a game. Take it as a game. You play it with your best potential. You play the game. Winning, losing, la kandugadi. See, if you play a game, I have an alternate theory here. There are two guys who play a game. One wins, the other loses. We celebrate the winner. We don't celebrate the loser much. Right? We just ignore that fellow. But remember one thing, winner does not exist if the loser was not there. Do you agree? I would say loser is more powerful because that fellow made the winner to win. Yeah? This is an alternate hypothesis, but it's a valuable idea to ponder, to think more in depth. So I would say winner was at the mercy of the loser. losing was that fellow's own decision, right? But winner won it because the loser allowed the winner to win by losing himself or herself. So the loser should feel more powerful. So winner should feel actually a little less because you are at the mercy of the other guy, or the other girl. Yoshiparu, think about that. So that is not the point I'm trying to convey here. Always see anything that you engage with as a game. Play it well, play it sincerely, play it hard, but don't take the outcomes of that experiment into your heart. That's all you have to do. Don't take it to your heart. Don't feel supreme when you win it, and don't feel very low when you lose it.
Don't get depressed.
Yeah, you don't have to feel it. It's nothing, man. It's nothing. Right? You should think in that line. So the first piece of advice that I gave you is try to inculcate this curiosity if you don't have. The second piece of advice that I'm giving you is treat life as a game. Don't treat it as a race. This is the piece of advice in the Portugal. And the third tangible message that I want to give you is what makes you employable. Everybody talks about employment and other stuff, right? Because education should end up in employment. Should end up in employment. Either you are employed or you become an employer. Rendu outcomes irukku. Either you are employed by somebody or you yourself become an employer. Rendu outcomes may good outcomes. Right? Outcome of education should be employment in some form or the other. Right? What is required to be employable? That's a question you should all have some clarity on. Right? I am a person who is of an opinion that your degree certificate, your GPA certificate, I don't care at all. I don't care about that at all. Because after you join me as an employee, let's take an example. After you join me as an employee, will you show your mark sheet and your GPA card in front of me every time you talk to me? Will you ever do that? Will you even remember what you scored in your third semester after you get employed? What is more important then? What is more important then? No, not just the skills. Can you solve the problem? Skill but if you cannot solve the problem, it is as good as trash. Right? Can you solve a problem? That is more important than you being a superstar, having 100 certificates on different technologies and skills. I don't care, man. What will I do with those pieces of paper? You can't even use them as tissue papers. Like glossy or gola. It's practically useless. You can use it as a fan though. Sometimes it's stiff material. Other than that, there is no use. Practically speaking. I don't know where my degree certificates are. I don't know. I hope it is safe somewhere. So, end of the day, can you solve a problem in the industry setting? That is more meaningful than what scores you got in your exams or what certificates you possess in your statements. It doesn't matter. So, how can you make yourself more problem-solving type than just a person with bunch of certificates? That is something you have to pay attention to. That's all. So, somebody asked me in a different meeting in a different institution. Somebody asked me, what are the basic skills that you need to get to hire somebody from my college? Somebody asked me that question last time. It was a very large forum, much bigger than this forum. 300, 400 people are sitting. I told them one point. If you can write a piece of code, first point, if you can write a piece of code without errors, right? Second thing is, can you logically argue? If you can logically argue. Third thing is, if you can write and converse in proper English. If these three things are there, I am willing to hire. I don't care which department you are from. I don't care which ethnicity you belong to. I don't care what is your CGPA, whether you finished your engineering or not. I don't care anything. If you can write proper code, if you can communicate clearly, I'm not asking you to communicate in British English or American English. I want you to communicate in some English, which I can understand. Right? Whatever you say, I should understand. Whatever I say, you should understand. if you can communicate well, that is second point. And the third thing is you are logical. Your arguments are logical. If these three qualities are there, I am willing to hire. Majority of the employers will be willing to hire if these three qualities are satisfied. And they take an alternate route to assess these qualities through examinations, through interviews, group discussions and whatnot. They basically make an assessment of these three qualities only. That's all they care. Right? So ask yourselves where you stand in these three parameters. Ask yourselves where you stand in these three parameters. If you are standing very low, work on it. You have time. Right? If your logical thinking is poor, play with logic. Solve a lot of logic problems. Try to have logical conversations with friends and enemies, if possible. If possible, is it? Right? And if you are not good in programming, concentrate on that. Whatever discipline it may be. See, don't think that if you are a mechanical engineer, you don't need to program. Hell with it. Today, everybody should know how to use a computer to solve your own problems. You should know how to program in any language of your choice. I don't say you have to learn a particular language and you have to excel in that. I'm not saying that. Anything that is suitable, anything that is relevant for your field of work, learn that programming language. You need computers to solve problems from your own domain. If it is a civil engineer, you have different modeling methodologies and softwares. If you are a mechanical engineer, you have a different suite of softwares. If you are a production engineer, some other list of applications are available. If you are an architect, you have a different problem. Everybody requires computers to solve your day-to-day problem solving. You need computers. So you have to know how to make use of a computer. That's why I'm asking you to develop programming skills, whatever it takes. This is relevant to you. Whichever is relevant to you. Programming is required, your logical arguments are required, your communications are required. If you satisfy these three requirements, it is very easy for you to get yourself a job. Very easy. I would say relatively very, very easy. See, I don't believe that, so there is a statement, right? This unemployment has gone up very high in this country. There is a statistic generally. I won't agree to that. Unemployment is not very high. Employability is very low. That is the real problem. See, we floated jobs, we invite people to hire for the jobs, but what we figure is people who come for, who apply for the job does not want to do the job. They don't want to do it. They don't want to work hard at all. They want to just come to office, sit there for 4 hours, go back home and get paid. This is the attitude most of the folks who come to us when they apply for jobs. This is the attitude these buggers have. I should use a really bad word to describe them. Attitude to work is missing. There are a lot of employers opening up with these jobs. It says, I have opened a shop, there is no buyer. There are no buyers. That's exactly is happening in today's job market. Me being an employer, I am able to strongly say that employments or job opportunities are available in large numbers. I am not saying humongous numbers. Large numbers it is definitely available. But people who satisfy the needs for those employment are not there. Not because, see, many people we reject, we don't reject them because they don't have the skill. We reject them because they don't have the attitude to work. See, if a person has a good attitude, that person can be trained. Can be trained on a new skill. Right? If a person is trainable and possesses a positive attitude, you can convert any clay into a super good pottery. It's possible. But if that fellow is already burnt, if it is a burnt clay, what will you do? What can you do with it? It's a total waste of time. That's why employers generally shy away from such candidates. They will say it's a liability, I don't want to put my time in that. So start appreciating the pointers from an employer's view as well. Then you become more powerful. So let's say if I go into a conversation or an argument with somebody, I generally make an assessment of what are their needs before I go and talk to them. So that I can plan for whatever their questions might come and go with a prepared answer sheet. You understand what I'm saying? If you get into a conversation with somebody, if you know the context of the conversation already, you can handle the questions much better than going with a blank slate. Do you agree? Right? And that is something we require. Right? So if you start understanding the needs of the employer and equip yourself with those needs, you will become like hotcakes for them to just come and pluck. You will become very attractive for them to come and hire. Right? Either purinchukoga. Right? Look at the problem from the other side. Don't keep complaining like I'm not getting employed, I'm not getting employed. Don't keep complaining. Start appreciating the fact from the other side of the story. Why this fellow is not employing me? Ask the question from that fellow's point of view, then you'll understand what is wrong with you or what is missing in you. And you can probably work on it. You get the idea, right? So that positive attitude is required. So attitude is everything. If you have the right attitude and if you think you are trainable, people are going to love you. Employers are going to love you. So please keep this in your mind. So on this Innovation Day, I just wanted to reverberate one thought, which is you have to ensure that your education converts to employability. Right? There is a fair share of responsibility lies with the institution in this conversion process. Your education getting converted into employability. But the bigger chunk is on your shoulders. Remember that aspect. Right? Don't think it is the responsibility of the institute to make you employable. No way. They can only guide you. They can only set a path for you. But it is you who should walk on it. If you don't want to walk on it, how can you be helped? You understood the point, right? So please appreciate the fact from the second person's view. Then your life will become much easier. Much simpler than what it is today. Do you get it? Yeah? So what are the various points that we discussed today? Curiosity is the key. Second point? Attitude is the last point we discussed. What is the second thing? 3 parameters for employability. What are those 3 parameters? Sorry? That is one. Communication is one parameter. Logical thinking and argumentation is another pointer. The third one? Programming. I'm not saying coding. Programming in any language of your preference, your domain. Right? Not necessarily C++ or Java or .NET. I'm not saying that. Anything that is relevant to your field of study. You have to be in a position to use a computer to solve your problem. That is all I care. So those 3 parameters you need to pay attention to. Then what is the next point we discussed? Positive attitude is everything. Anything else we discussed? Curiosity is the first point. Okay, go on. 5 points I have given. And finally, one touch here. I'm sorry? Sattama. Good. The second person's view of things. Start appreciating the story from the other person's view also, then life becomes easier and simpler for you. To give you closure, there are 3 adjectives that I want you to pay attention to. Not adjectives, nouns I would say. Patience, persistence and perseverance. Patience, persistence and perseverance. 3 words. Keep these 3 P's in your mind. You need to be patient, only then you can attain your success. You need to have the patience. And you should be persistent. You should hang on to it. If I pay attention to it for 2 days and then let it go, how will it come back to you? You have to be persistent in holding on to it. Third, perseverance is work. Perseverance means sweat, right? No, perspiration is sweat. Perseverance is ability to hang on to it even if there is downfall. Right? So you have to keep these 3 words in your mind: patience, persistence and perseverance. We discussed about 9 different words. Can we summarize? First word is curiosity. Second word, communication. Third word, logical thinking. Fourth word, programming. Fifth word, attitude. Sixth word, second person's view. Seventh word, patience, persistence, perseverance. So we have 9 different words that we learned today. So let's stick on to it and feel like an innovator every day. Okay? Thank you.
I could see from the last 2-3 rows. So sir has given you many inputs which you could work on your daily basis, and everything comes with attitude which you have, and I guess all of you who are gathered here out of the 2,900 students in our college, you So always you are runner-ups. So I really appreciate you guys for participating. And with that note of words, I would like to move on to the prize distribution of the events. We totally conducted 5 events in the last 2 days. So we had 2 online events, that is poster contest, poster presentation contest, and the slogan contest, which we have done online. We received your posters and slogans. And we had 2 items which happened today, that is the project ideation. If you have any idea, you have already presented in PPT. Then a project prototype demo which happened in the morning session. Yesterday we had a debate session from all the students from all the departments. So we had totally 5 contests which happened with a very good number of participation. I thank all the coordinators for giving this number to me, a high number of participation. And I would kindly request all the innovation coordinators of the respective departments to give away the prizes to the students along with the chief guest. Right, okay sir? So for the poster presentation, the best.
So thank you. Good work.
For volunteers, portable personal server.
Coming about. Good sir. Very good. Thank you.
So get ready with your projects and other innovation ideas you can come with. Thank you all for being a part of this program. And as you guys are having examination in the afternoon, I don't want to lengthen it much. I call the student coordinator of ED, the Entrepreneur Development Cell of ETMT, to give away the vote of thanks.
Veltech Multitech, Dr. Shakuntala and Dr. Rangarajan Engineering College. I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. Sudarshan sir, for acknowledging our invitation and getting out of time of your busy schedule to be here. And I would like to thank our college management and the teachers for making this program possible. And last but the most, to the student for taking such an active participation in the program. And at last, I would like to thank everyone present in the room for making this day worth remembering. Thank you very much, and I would like everyone to stand up for the national anthem.